All right, the other day, my friend asked me what I thought about Trump's announcement, RFK Jr.'s announcement about the Tylenol issue, or Tylenol may be causing autism. And the reason why he asked me is because several of my kids are on the autistic spectrum, and I've been, working with my kids obviously all their life. But you want to know what my thoughts were, and my thoughts is I think you never know how medicines are, even those simple ones. If you look at the side effects that are on the bottle, it says it could cause liver damage, and then one thing it does say, speak to your doctor if you're pregnant, and most medicines, even some vitamins, say that too. And as a parent, again, with kids that have autism, I want to know what happened. Like, it's always got me, you start feeling kind of guilty, right? Like, was it something you did? Was it because you were born with it? You had something and you mixed it with it, your partner, and then suddenly you made, this kind of baby. Like, what was it? What kind of genetic? There's always some kind of genetic disorder. Where did it come from? And it makes you wonder. And if that's maybe one of the correlations, it's not saying it's the only causation, but a lot of people are taking that way. And I think, mothers, expecting mothers and mothers now, they shouldn't feel super guilty about that, right? Because it could have been anything with their body. And I'm not blaming their body. I'm just saying the things that happen. And it's just that there's so much, I guess, a lot of it. Like, I could look at my neighbors, and I know a few of the neighbors' kids that are on the spectrum. And when I grew up, maybe it wasn't as important, but they didn't have as many of these kids, that you saw. They didn't have special ed departments weren't as big, and now it's like more prominent. And it's like, sure, there's more people, but proportionally speaking, I don't know. Like, I just look at it like it's not. There's something more to the story. And if it's like a warning label saying, hey, this might cause it or not, just look out. If you need it, you need it. Go to the doctor. That's what you do with it. Personally, I have atrial fibrillation. They can't figure out where it came from. They just want to treat the symptoms. And that's what these doctors do, and that's what autism is a situation that you want to treat it. Obviously, you want to treat it as early as possible. And like my older son Jesse, he turned 18 when he graduated from high school, and but it was a challenge. It still is a challenge, and it's just we as parents, we want our kids' lives to be maybe as, I don't want to call it easy, but let's say have a challenge that maybe wasn't necessary. Let's have a challenge that, obviously you gotta have challenges in your life. You want to grow, you want to be better. But certain things are like, why, speaking is an example. Just talking. Your kids, one of the things of being on the spectrum is speech issues. And it's like, when they're not on the spectrum or have other disabilities, they can speak fine. They just grow as a normal kid or whatever you want to call it. You don't want to use the word normal. Just to say it's easier, and those things are frustrating. Not as a parent, not for the parent. It is for the parent, but it's frustrating to see your child unable to communicate with you, and that makes it's just heartbreaking, And if you get these answers, if there's some kind of answer, it doesn't fix things, right? But maybe it just stops, future things. At least someone's trying. You know what I mean? So don't take things to heart. Like, take everything, I guess, with a couple of grain of salt. But to say absolutely there's no whatever, I don't know. But just take everything, in moderation, right? Get, the best opinions you can, because I think, again, it happens. Every individual is different. Every individual's reactions are different. Allergies are different. I'm kind of ranting, but my older son Jesse, he has a peanut allergy. So not only on the spectrum, he has a peanut allergy. Now, it doesn't mean there's a correlation between the two, but I'm saying no one else in the family has peanut allergy. My other 3 kids don't have it. So then how does this explain things? Causation, correlation, sure, whatever. But excuse me. But my point is that not everybody's different. reactions are different. So one medication that works for most doesn't mean it works for all, right? We can all agree with that. So you never know how things were or are on reaction, side effects, etc. All right, and post what you guys think about this. I know there's a lot of parents that have kids on the spectrum.